12, St Helens 18 as we prepare to get the second half underway. And what would Lee Breers give to be playing in this match? He has suffered so many times against St Helens, the club where it all began for him, of course. And, well, people saying that tonight could be the night for Warrington, but they've got something to do in the second half if they are going to score the victory. And, of course, Lee Breers, the playmaker-in-chief in many ways, kicked 8 goals in that last win against St Helens way back in 2001. One happy day, 30-odd unhappy days. What's it going to be tonight?
I'll tell you what, it might be a change in strategy from Warrington. So many times, Eddie, we've turned up at Sky, seen them leading, only for St Helens to come back and win in dramatic fashions. It might be all part of the game plan. Let's come from behind tonight.
I tell you what, that's an ambitious game plan. But I know what you mean. No point being ahead at this stage for Warrington, or with about a minute to go. It's got to be on the scoreboard when it's all over. Poor ball from Bridge.
Well, he did everything right up until the point of just offloading. Maybe they've got to be a little bit smarter there, because John Clark off, of course, it's got to be up to Bridge now to take control of that. The opportunity was there, but he did not have the support. Got to be a little quick thinking more than that.
Here is Wilkin for St Helens, 4 tackles gone. Now Roby to Farsavalu and Price. Here is Kyle Eastmond.
5, move, go.
One of several Super League Young Player of the Year contenders. And that went backwards off the hand of Michael Monaghan.
Move, wait.
King has the possession for Warrington, plays the ball there. This is Chris Riley now. High shot, was it? Yes, it was. Straying over the shoulder, James Roby.
Well, more of a grapple tackle in the end. He's not surprising, looks confused at the official Richard Silverwood. Pretty important now that Warrington just get themselves a good position downfield. It'll be interesting to see how they utilise it. They've offloaded, that's good play.
I think that ball was dropped. I don't think that was an offload, Steve. That ball was dropped. And they have been given benefit of the doubt by Richard Silverwood that it was lost backwards. Harrison continues it on to Vinnie Anderson. Shot high from Wilkin. He gets the ball away though to Bridge. Well, Bridge misses out is Louis Anderson, but finds Matt King somewhat fortuitously.
Move, hold, go.
And Louis Anderson's the dummy half now. Comes in field to Richie Mathers.
3, move,
3 tackles gone for Warrington. Monaghan is the dummy half. Westwood. Back it comes to Bridge. Bridge then to Ben Harrison.
4,
Pretty good defence from Roby there. Knew it was going to be a short pass. Was not going to be deceived.
Monaghan again. Gets the ball away. Couldn't get it back though from the grounded player, who was Richie Mathers. This is Chris Bridge. Stabbed the kick in. Work for Paul Wellens to do here, and can't get out of jail. Good set of 6 for Warrington. Encouragement.
And that's all they needed to do. Well spotted by that man, Leon Price. They got back in numbers. Bridge is a key player, they know it. Wellens finally comes up with possession. He really has to take control in the second half.
Goal line drop out. Evades Monaghan, is picked up by Westwood.
1,
Warrington back on the front foot again.
hold, go. 2, move, hold.
Vinnie Anderson's the dummy half as Harrison plays it to him. Louis takes over.
3, Chris, move, go.
Now Monaghan again. Here is Westwood. Cooper. St Helens defence standing firm thus far. This is the second consecutive set of 6 they've had coming at them, remember. And here is Ben Harrison. Great ball to Cooper. That's the last one. Can St Helens survive? Can Warrington find the gap? Bridge off the knees and picked up, and Saints do survive. Wilkin.
Well, he went for the little kick into the corner there, Brian, and maybe it would have been better suited to try to get it out onto the wing side.
You need a little bit more space for that kick. He's tried to thread the needle there, Mike, but you have to give compliment to St Helens' goal line defence.
Hold your turn, move, hold, go.
Now, St Helens trying to clear their goal line with Francis Melly. 4 tackles gone though. Good set of 6 for Warrington here defensively, restricting them to 23 metres so far. That could have been high. The ball has come out. Warrington have got it back. Ben Westwood stopped for a moment then. He almost gave himself up.
And Saints are down to 12, though they're just making a substitute. Fasavalou has been taken off the field of play behind the sticks.
Johnson for Warrington. Right behind the post. Paul Johnson. Fasavalou in trouble. Paul Johnson over for the try. His 99th career try for Paul Johnson. And that's exactly what Tony Smith would have wanted at the start of this second half. If he talked to Paul Cullen about his past here, he will point to the fact that Johnson went off injured in that cup tie last year when Warrington were in the ascendancy, and that's when the wheels fell off as far as he's concerned.
Well, at this point in time, Saints virtually were down to 12 men. Fasavalou was getting taken off behind the sticks. Johnson took full advantage of it. That was a one-on-one steal. Was it gone forward? No, said the official Silverwood. And look how he came onto it. Great fend. He lowered his body so that when the fend came, he had the impact.
Bridge has the extras. Level pegging at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. Warrington 18, St Helens 18. Let's go straight down to Bill.
Eddie, James Graham, while that conversion was being lined up, was going absolutely potty behind the post there with his teammates. There he is in your shot, and it all came down to the fact that Maury Fasavalou has picked up an injury. It looks like the left arm, the forearm, that might be the problem. Graham was desperate to get on there, but he wasn't brought on. In his view, it just didn't happen quickly enough, and while all that was going on, it was Warrington who capitalised on it.
Well, it's like a test match this, because we've got a couple of players with Fasavalou off the field injured, a couple of players in the nervous 90s. 99 tries so far for Gilmore, 99 tries now for Paul Johnson. Who's going to be first to the century?
Do you know, there might be an element of redemption there for Paul Johnson. He missed a bad tackle on Gilmore back in round 1. Saints scored from it, from the scrum, I think you remember, and went on to win the game. He'll make sure he want to be on the winning side tonight, Paul Johnson. Just going on, I think usually the winning team in rugby league tends to have the best defender on the field, and Ben Harrison's been pretty impressive when the opposition have had the ball tonight. You need some players just love tackling. Ben Harrison's one of those.
He's just been taken off the field for a breather, and Carvel, who played the ball there, has replaced him. This is Chris Bridge, meanwhile. Eventually St Helens bring him down on the last, just over the halfway line.
I'm taking nothing away from Paul Johnson's effort there, but Mick Potter will not be happy with the defensive effort on to try to stop him. He came on it at full speed with plenty of gusto.
This is Gardner, who plays the ball here to Chris Flannery. Oh! Mike Cooper picks up the baton where Ben Harrison has thrown it to the ground. Graham wants to get on with it quickly and does. Roby, probing run.
Super sub, absolutely wonderful by Roby. They're vital meters forward, because when you're in the opposition half, when it comes to the last, and here it comes, you've got to control the kicking game.
Eastman, that's off the chest of Westwood, and he reacted strong enough and quick enough to pick it up, and Warrington begin in a good position.
Did very well, didn't he? Second row of Westwood. Must say, this is really hotting up. The pace is unbelievable. It's got to take something out of the tank. This game will be won or lost, I can assure you, in the final quarter.
Surrender!
Fill the tank up, fellas, if you can.
Vinnie Anderson, Chris Bridge, over the head of Carvel, finds Monaghan. Oh! Johnson with a big error.
Just took his eyes off the ball at the vital moment. Just had a little glimpse there. You could see that Chris Flannery was right in front, a golden opportunity.
So Saints will get head and feed at this scrum, which is midway inside their own half. Remember Warrington with Simon Grix off the field and unlikely to return. Nasty gash in the mouth, and there he is. He's trying to stem the flow of the blood. But St Helens, with their walking wounded as well. Maori Fasavalou taken from the field just before the Paul Johnson try. Graham.
Getting back to that Grix incident as well, Eddie, you know, I just think over the last couple of weeks, some of these high shots are really creeping back into this game. The officials have got to take a good look at it. The touch judges have got to work. They've got to combine with the man with the whistle. It's off Roby at that point. Then Carvel, does he get a fingertip to it? He touches it there. Now then, if he loses it from this point and then it goes forward, this has got to be classified as a knock-on, I'm afraid.
I'll take up another sport if this tries disallowed for that.
You can't, surely, but you might be right, Steve-O. How can you deny Gareth Carvel this try?
Let's just check the grounding.
It's unbelievable. It should be given, but we have to play by the rules.
He's checked the grounding. I think it's going to be given.
He deserves
going to
it.
get this.
He certainly deserves it.
Has Gareth Carvel got one of the tries of his career? Yes, he has. I think technically it was a knock-on. I think morally they've got it right.
What about the cheeky little smile he gave as he looked over the left shoulder going towards the try line?
Listen to this crowd now. 27th try of Gareth Carvel's career. Has there ever been a better try than that?
Unbelievable. To see a prop forward outstrip the opposition with sheer guts and determination. The legs were like out of a comic book. They were just keeping going round and round and round. And boy, he got over. I'm with you, Eddie. Technically, that could have been written off, but I'm glad that it hasn't.
Bridge has the extras. 24-18, Warrington lead. Outstanding try from Gareth Carvel. One of the memories of 2009.
This is the incident where it could have been stopped. Carvel touches it there. It is very, very tight indeed. I think that should have been classified, but as I mentioned before, you've got to give this man so much credit. Look at those legs. I'm getting there. And then he realises it's glory. Glory, hallelujah.
Fantastic effort from Gareth Carvel. Warrington debut against St Helens in February. He was impressive then, and he has been all season. Carney now for the Wolves. Don't anyone tell me that Super League isn't exactly what Phil Clark called it last night. Super.
He was spot on. We have had a bonanza weekend.
Eddie, I made a joke earlier about Warrington preferring to come from behind. They won't have that case at this stage. But what I was touching about, and really Wakefield had the problems last night. Maybe it's the side that is the underdog. I wonder whether there's sometimes a nervousness, and I've seen it before when Warrington have played against St Helens, Eddie, a nervousness if you take a small lead into that final 10 minutes. I suggest for them and their supporters, they extend this lead as soon as possible.
Carvel's the hero of the hour, being watched here by over 12,000 tonight, and I'm sure being enjoyed around the country as well. It is a pulsating atmosphere. It's a great match again.
Well, I'm getting excited, and I must say, so is the drummer underneath us.
24-12, the Celtic Crusaders have hit back from 12-0 down. Here is Graham. On the halfway line, he's grounded. That's tackle number 4. Roby and Eastman has seen a gap and has gone for it. He's got Wellens. Wellens responds from St Helens. Eastman with the gap and through the gap. Wellens in support. Captain for the night. Over under the sticks. It's going to be all square again in a minute. And Paul Wellens, he got 10 tries in 6 games in May and June, 1 try since in the last 4. Here's another.
It was a beautiful switch back on the inside. Kyle Eastman was stood still. The Warrington defence didn't anticipate this. Look, that was great work. Roby back on the inside. No one went for the legs. They both went for the crunch tackle. He bounced through. And as we've seen for many years, Paul Wellens, the hero of the red and whites. Are they happy? Oh, yes, they are. They're not on their own. I think even the Warrington fans would have admired that. That was sheer. No, that was sheer quality.
I doubt it.
I still think that was sheer quality.
It was, but I don't think Warrington supporters will agree.
Do you think that St Helens are a more dangerous team with Kyle Eastman in the side? Faster player than Sean Long if he plays at 7?
Oh, what a $50 million squillion question. He can create a break. He's small, he's low to the ground. His gravity means if you're a big bloke and he goes underneath you and he's got good leg speed, he makes things happen. He's a constant threat. That's what we'll say about Kyle Eastman. Sean Long brings something completely different. Sean Long brings organisation, great kicking, great game plan. They both complement each other. There's a place in the team for both of them.
Let's get straight down to Bill.
That was the perfect response from Paul Wellens there, Eddie. Just a few moments earlier, he and John Wilkin had been involved in a pretty heated discussion with Richard Silverwood over that previous decision to award Gareth Carvel's try, but they've soon got their heads back on the game and come up, as I say, with the perfect response.
So, 24 apiece and 55 and a half minutes gone. This could be anything, this game tonight.
And I get the feeling there's plenty of points to come. But the pace of this game, you talk about the modern day athlete in any sport, but rugby league players, they're up there with the best. They have shown that tonight. Their resolve, their ability, the eagerness to look for work. And that's a great kick from Price. That is a superb, okay, it might go a little bit too far, but it doesn't matter. They'll line up on the 30.
Yes, the invitation now for Warrington to break them down from 20 metres away from their own line. Here is King with the first drive, halted by Johnny Lomax. 2 teenagers on the bench for St Helens tonight, Lomax and Dixon. A teenager out in the middle as well with Kyle Eastman, and Gary Wheeler, another teenager, started the match in 21 and he's still out there inside Francis Melly.
And what is so impressive about St Helens, and they are top of this league, they've given debuts to 6 new players this year. Only one of them is an external recruit, Tony Lupulatua. The other 5 are all club trained players. That's an amazing achievement for a team that are at the top of the comp.
Westwood, Lomax low down, Wheeler, the 2 teenagers I was just talking about. They bring him down. Last tackle here, Monaghan with a measured kick, but just too long again.
And they'll feel happy with that, Monaghan, realising that it's a tit for tat. They'll step on the 30. But the pace, Eddie, I just can't believe that these guys are still going. And I am absolutely drenched because it's so humid here up on the gantry. Imagine what it's like out there in the field of play.
Well, they love playing in the summer, these rugby league superstars. Oh, Pulatui is on the charge. Penalty on half play. They were offside, Warrington.
And not a bad penalty to come out with it there, but it looked as though Puliatuyu is raking through. Paul Wood just hangs on. They weren't offside, and it was good refereeing. Richard Silverwood wanted to see whether the advantage could be offered to the Saints. It wasn't. Paul Wood hung on there for his life.
Lomax gives it to Graham.
Should have been a flop there. Carvel came in late on Graham.
Lomax to Leon Price. Little dummy from Leon Price, a spin from Leon Price, and he goes down eventually.
Now watch Kyle Eastman got up his sleeve again.
It's Graham, it's back to Eastman. Brilliant. Lost the ball though. Well, the referee's blown the whistle here, and he'll put the scrum down with head and feet to Warrington. Eastman now is in the face of the official and needs to be careful.
And he needs to be penalised. It's no good. That's another thing that's coming into our game. A lot of these youngsters yapping, and a lot of the experienced players yapping as well. We saw that a lot last night. That's another thing the Rugby Football League have to look at. We cannot go into that section where other sports, they just harass the official. We've got to give them respect. He went close though, didn't he? Good work there by Richard Mathers.
I don't know what he was complaining about really, because it looked like a knock-on, or was he saying it was stripped underneath the sticks? Well, there's his reaction. And I'm with you, Steve. Oh, hang on, Warrington have lost it. Here is Graham. There's a lot of back-chatting to the officials these days. Wilkin.
I know there's a lot at stake. I know it's a fully professional game, and I understand all that, but we shall not get our game going forward if we start nattering to the officials.
Graham is hurt. Just while Graham picks himself up, a few of the emailers to Boots and All this week says the referees deserve respect, yes, but they have to earn that respect. And I think the referees, on the whole, they do. It's a very, very difficult job. Lomax. It's certainly a job that nobody up here would want to do. Wilkin. Here's Eastman. Now it's Leon Price. There's the short ball. He gets it away, though. Flannery, Gardner. Good defence. Good defence. He nearly ends up in row A at the stand, Eddie Gardner. King was asked a big question then and came up with the answer.
Good work by Flannery. Gave him the opportunity, but they were equal to the task on the defensive line there. And what about Harrison? The big fella, Ben Harrison, bang. He knows it's pressure. Mick Potter has been down this road many, many times.
And so have Warrington been down this road many, many times. They've only ever had one win against the Saints in Super League, but they have forced a couple of draws, 2001, 2003, 28 apiece, 30 apiece. At the moment, we're level pegging here with 19 minutes to go at 24 each.
Eddie, their attack has been good enough to score enough points against St Helens. Unfortunately for the Wolves supporters, the defence hasn't quite been at that level to earn them a win that they so desperately crave here now. And it's the defence, I think, in the next 90 minutes of this match. The best defensive team will win it, because both of these sides are brilliant at attacking.
They are, and they're both down on stars and both down on players tonight. Bill.
That's right, Eddie. Grick's absentee for Warrington long-term as far as this evening goes, and Maury Fassavalu is out for the rest of the game for St Helens by the look of things. He has got his left forearm encased in icing and in a big blue bandage, and the word is that he is going to be needing a precautionary, well, they're hoping it's a precautionary x-ray later on this evening. Go!
That looked like that was the incident where Maury Fassavalu was taken off. Oh, Wellens has come up with a mistake. Johnson has it back for Warrington. I tell you what, Ben Harrison, he's 20 years of age, he's got to be a Super League Young Player of the Year contender. Here he is again. Forwards don't often get the big accolades.
Oh, he's had a wow of the game. He's involved himself. He wants to prove a point to a certain Tony Smith, the Warrington coach. And boy, he's letting him know big time.
20 years of age, Irish international, Ben Harrison. Tremendous talent knocking around this competition this year. Monaghan. Vinnie Anderson. Paul Wood. Running flat now, straightening it up. Goes down on tackle number 4. Monaghan wants to get on with it quickly. Finds Richard Mathers. Here is Chris Bridge. Bridge to Carvel. Now Mathers again. Quick play the ball from Warrington. Bridge. Johnson! Does he get it down?
He does not get it down. How on earth did they stop that? That is one of the most unbelievable defensive efforts you'll ever see. Tony Smith looked for all the world and he thought Johnson, he threw the dummy. Oh, that is wonderful. Wheeler gets right underneath it.
100 tries in his career. He was beckoning for Johnson then.
Well, it was
Gary Wheeler said no, not tonight.
That was 99.9%, wasn't it? But what a wonderful effort from this fella. He got his body underneath, did the centre, Gary Wheeler. And that could be the match winner, that could be the match saver.
Just one draw in the Super League this year. Round 1, Bradford Bulls and Hull KR. Look at that effort from Wheeler and all the defenders around Paul Johnson. And Wheeler is still trying to shrug off the effects of that effort. Ben Harrison's got blood pouring from an eye wound. He has to leave the field, surely. He's not gone yet, though. He doesn't want to leave the action. Harrison, here is Lomax. This is Pulatuya. How good's this?
Release him! Wait!
How good is this? Penalty against Pulatuya. And descent from Pulatuya. That should be another 10 metres forward, that. He throws the ball away.
Well, the official called held.
You can't argue. Can't hear yourself think in this din. Harrison's taped up.
He doesn't want to go off this youngster, Ben Harrison. Pulatuya knows that this could be a crucial moment.
They're going to take the 2 on offer if they can.
Well, I certainly would.
Well, you said that last night, but others disagreed.
I know. And they lost.
I don't think Justin Morgan's team were playing, were they?
But it won't be the first time you disagree with me, Edward.
No.
Neither the last.
Well, this is kickable for Bridge. Even Wolfie can't cope with this. And Lee Breers he's acting like a caddy. He's right behind the line. Has Bridge found the mark? Yes, he has. 26-24. Off he goes, the water carrier. Mr. Breers. Mr. Bridge gives Warrington a 2-point advantage.
Well, could it be the bridge over the troubled waters, Eddie? Because that 2 points could prove vital late in this game.
Wellens restarts for Saints. They know they're in a match. Wheeler's had to leave the field. This is Carney. Welcome back, Brian. Wonder if he's enjoyed it. Vinnie Anderson, Monaghan, Louis Anderson.
Well, I know it's only a slender lead, but I feel that Warrington coach Tony Smith will get the message out and say, look, we don't want to do anything silly, and that's the way to do it. Belt the thing down early in the tackle. They've gone, they didn't wait till the last, and look at the chase. It's effective.
Yes, it's enthusiastic. Just less than 14 minutes to go. A 2-point advantage for Warrington. We know in the past that has meant absolutely nothing in games against St Helens.
Well, they're the last gap wonders, aren't they, the Saints? They never give in. A bit like Leeds last night, you play to the final seconds. And it was the few final seconds that got Leeds up. Can Saints do exactly the same?
Wellens through the gap. Eastman will go over for St Helens' next try. Wellens just ghosted through a big hole. And Eastman was the man on his shoulder. Over under the sticks. Suddenly Warrington's little light goes out. It'll come again. It'll burn again. But Eastman, what a run of form this young man has had.
Well, there comes a time in everybody's career when you say he's arrived. And the pass from Graham, it caught the defence out superbly. And this man can snip a try from anywhere. He's had a terrific game as Kyle Eastman. As Brian Noble mentioned, is so much quality and so much class, but I've been impressed not with just that, his ability to control this game. He's been very, very good at taking over the responsibility of the first receiver on many occasions, and he could be the match winner. This is a vital kick. Okay, it's in front.
And two of the tries we've seen, the Gilmore try and this one that's just attempted to be converted here by Eastman, his own try, which he does. Very often Saints have made a reputation of passing the ball behind the first man outside them to the man outside. They call it second man play. And I think so many of the defenders for teams playing against them overread, expecting the first man to be a decoy and it go behind him. No, it isn't. He just hits the first runner, it goes straight through, and as we see here, there are Wellens. Ben Harrison's over ready, thought it was going to Eastman. No, not on this occasion. They've played the simple first man play. Gilmore earlier, Eastman this time. Hard to defend against that when you're almost preparing for something that's not going to happen.
Do you know something, Phil? Yeah, you've got to give credit to James Graham, because everybody expects these big ginger boy and Tony Pullatua just to cart the ball up. That little bit of skill, that little bit of dexterity with the short pass is wonderful to see.
I must say, Brian, this year it seems to me as though that Graham has been utilised as he was last year. But under Mick Potter, it's as though he's utilised as a first receiver on many occasions.
Well, he's a threat, isn't he? When he's there as a threat, it means you've got to pay attention, and the defenders have to talk what's about in front of them.
Well, 14 points apiece for Eastman and Bridge. But at the moment, it's St Helens who lead by 4 as we approach the final 10 minutes of this thrilling match.
Perfect place to be if a Warrington supporter, just tucked in there, 4 points behind, 10 to go.
Coming up on the last bend. Riley plays the ball to Carney. Well, no mistakes so far from Carney in this his first game of rugby league in 3 years. Whoa, but there's a mistake from Richie Mathers.
Oh, that could prove very costly. He raises the arm, he knows its importance. And Saints, now normally you'd expect any team to say, okay, we've got the lead, we'll drive forward. Maybe they'll be thinking about the one, but not St Helens. St Helens will just keep trying and pegging away. They know they've got the quality with Price and Eastman.
And I think if it was 32-26, they might be thinking about the one, but like last night, they will go for the throat, St Helens. Roby. Here's Eastman. Now it's Price. Then Harrison doing ever so well. Oh, but then losing it to Roby. Back to 0 in the tackle count. And Roby is still going. And that's the 0 tackle. Pullatua. Eastman. Graham. First tackle.
Wellens coming on the second phase.
This is Pullatua.
Boy, he's close.
Very close. Roby. Untidily to Eastman. On then to Price. Back to Wellens. Johnson. Well, the tackle not completed. Wellens still. Wellens with blood now from a facial wound as Roby gives it to Price, gives it to Eastman! On the line, says Eastman. Now then, a decision for Steve Ganson and a big call.
Now he rolls over. Does the ball carrying arm hit the deck? No, it doesn't. I think that's short. I really feel that is short.
He doesn't.
I do. I think King has got his hand underneath, and that is short. It's a 50-50 call. Steve Ganson. He's used to these sort of calls, though, is Mr. Ganson. I think it's short, I really do. This might be a little bit more clear. I feel it's just a fraction away from the whitewash. Play the ball. What say you, fellas?
I think it's short to the try line. This will be play for. I think they've got 2 more tackles, and the game hinges
Look at that
on
one.
this decision.
Shot. Look at that shot.
Yeah, but the ball, I don't think the ball's touching the line, Eddie.
You're right. Carrying hand is.
No, that's
It's
not his hand.
King's hand. Well, Steve
No
Ganson,
try.
big decision. Steve Ganson. Fourth tackle to St. Helens. They'll bring it back 10 metres, and they'll come again. Well done, Matt King. Although no, they won't bring it back 10 metres because he wasn't over the line, was he? It's from where that tackle was effected. Here is Pulatuya. He's still going, Pulatuya. He thinks he thought about it. Graham to crash home. James Graham to possibly maintain this awful record for Warrington against Saints on this ground. Well, he read the riot act to his players earlier in this half for their slack defence that allowed Warrington in for the try. And he has burst onto this football and scored his second try of this match. James Graham. And after all that work by Matt King, Warrington broken on the last tackle, and Wellens bandaged up a la Andy Farrell all those years ago.
Tremendous work. The effort from this fella Graham. He just never knows when to give in. Look at him saying to his players, come on, it's not over yet. Even though they think it is, we've still got work to do. He's been a wonderful find for this country. He knew exactly where to go. He ducked underneath. Beautiful pass from James Roby. And look at the enthusiasm. Come on, he turns to them. Excitement to watch him go over there. Oh boy, they've celebrated, they've witnessed an absolutely fantastic game.
Eastman to try and add the extras. He's not too far to the right of the posts. Could be the killer blow. 36-26. Warrington have to score twice, and time's against them. It is a familiar story for every Warrington coach that St. Helens come here and do the business. And James Graham, with his 2 tries, he's led from the front, but so has Wellens. How good has he been tonight? And the short kick-off doesn't come up for Warrington. Gardner has it.
And it shows you the courage, isn't it? You talk about Andy Farrell, you know,
that was a broken nose. That looks like it's the top lip.
It certainly looks like it, but it's either way, it's a Phantom of the Opera, and he has steered them as well. It has been a good combined effort. They've worked hard as Saints. When Warrington took that 2-point lead with that penalty, it looked as though they could just hang on, but you never say die about this outfit, do you? St. Helens, wonderful to watch.
What a hit from Harrison as well. Wilkin with the chip over the top, nearly to seal it.
He's got to see whether he's onside. It looked 50-50. Melly thinks that it's okay.
Well, does he? Oh, now then.
I think it's just in front from that angle. Does he come into? He's not in that, but it is a bad angle to see that anyway. As I say, it's a 50-50. Welcome to the world of making a big decision. I hope you got a coin in your pocket, Steve Ganson, because this is one of those you just flip heads or tails. So difficult.
Oh, he's well in front.
I think he's in front, yeah. Not much in
I don't
it.
think you can say that if you can't see him in the shot when he hits the ball, Eddie.
Well, you can't see him on that. You cannot see him on that shot, but I think the head-on
appeared
to have him just in front.
He wasn't in the head-on when Wilkin hits the ball.
What's the touch judge saying, gentlemen? He must have an opinion.
Yeah,
He stood on the corner flag.
he's done the right thing. He's confused.
They're looking at the grounding, they're going to give this. They're looking at the grounding, that means this is going to be confirmed.
Benefit of the doubt, isn't it? Because it's not conclusive whether he was in offside or not. This will be him. Mr. Melly seals it up.
Francis Melly, 60 tries for St Helens, yes! And 2 points for the league leaders. And disappointment for all the Warrington fans of every age group. Again, against Saints here.
They never
60
know.
St Helens tries for Francis Melly. A try last week at Salford, a try here last year, a try in 2007. So 7, 8 and 9 tries on this ground for Francis Melly. And another victory for Saints here.
Well, you normally say to yourself, as we mentioned earlier, that you'll just close up shop, but they don't. Wilkin, beautiful kick into the corner. Thank you very much indeed. Thinking all the time. It's no fluke that Saints and Leeds have been at the top for several years, because the quality of play from both these sides is outstanding.
But Francis Melly touched down, and he looked at Richard Silver, wouldn't he? He drew the square, he said, have a look at that. And Steve Ganson did, and gave it the green light.
You know, coaches of teams who have to play against St Helens will analyse in great detail their performance, particularly now that Sean Long's not in the side. That try came from a John Wilkin kick. He's the 6th player tonight for St Helens to kick the ball. So without Long, Eddie, you now have to face more people who will kick the ball. Maybe that makes them even harder to defend against on the kick at the end of the set.
Warrington 26, St Helens 40. And time has run out for Warrington. But yet again, they have given it a heck of a go. Bulatuya will run this back. What a great run. What a tremendous run.
Go.
They show a lot of composure, don't they? Whilst many teams perhaps would just panic at being behind on the scoreboard, Saints go about their business. Good solid runs, good combination with the ability to link from the forwards to the three quarters, and the kicking game. It's certainly improved in that second half, hasn't it?
It has. 4 minutes to go. Roby nearly through. Lomax and Price with a deep kick that just runs dead, of course. Here goes Riley now for Warrington. Well, when you think back to this match, I suppose your abiding memory might be of the Gareth Carvel try, but all for naught, Brian.
Well, that's the quality of St Helens, isn't it? I think Tony Bulatuya and James Green have been absolutely awesome in this last 20 minutes, complemented by Kyle Eastman, who found enough quality and skill, and James Roby probing around the ruck to trouble Warrington this last 15 minutes. But you have to take your hats off also to Warrington. They've got a huge effort here tonight, haven't they?
They have. Vinnie Anderson. But it's a monkey that one of these days Warrington will get off their back. You just have to wonder when. Tony Smith saying in the build-up to it this week, if it doesn't happen this week, it will happen sometime. And John Key will be saying exactly the same about Leeds going to Wakefield. Monaghan with a crossfield kick. Graham's underneath it, so is Matt King. Who has it? St Helens do.
Well, not a bad option. Plenty of height on that. And you've got to say, I suppose, in many ways that Warrington, without the mercurial Lee Breers, it's always a bit of a problem for them. But you've also got to look at the fact that St Helens, you know, without Cunningham and without Long, this has been a tremendous effort from them. They brought in the juniors. Kyle Eastman, to me, has been outstanding. There's a man that not fit for today's game, trying to encourage them to keep going. Get points on the board, but a couple of the players' heads are a little bit down. I think they realise, but this man has been astounding, outstanding, wonderful, wonderful today.
Coming up to the final minutes of the match, and well, deja vu for Warrington. St Helens, as the rain comes down here at the Halliwell-Jones Stadium. Mick Potter, his team have done him proud again. Of course, Daniel Anderson, in his 4 years in charge, Saints finished top of the pile after the weekly rounds. The only way was down for Mick Potter, but they are leaders, and clear leaders by 2 points. The Celtic Crusaders have picked up their third victory of the season at Salford's expense. Salford were 12 up in the first 10 minutes or so, and the Crusaders have hit them with 25 unanswered points. And just to rub salt in, Eastman, it's charged down by Carvel, but Eastman has it back. It will be 6 to go. That was on the last tackle. But in the last minute, you have to take your hat off, Brian, to the players of both sides here.
Oh, they've both had given their all, haven't they? And we've seen even there in the last minute, Gareth Carvel trying to stop Saints from completing that drop goal that will probably put a bit of salt into the wound. They have to defend their own try line now, and people like Pullatua and Graham coming on, who's going to back against another Saints score.
Indeed so. Whoa, that popped out. Now. There you go. I'm glad you didn't put any money on it. Vinnie Anderson, former St Helens star, of course. He's never appeared on the winning side against them since he left Knowsley Road. It's a bitter pill for them to swallow. Let's play on. Ooh, now then, I thought that was play on. I thought that was a mistake by Gardner. The referee's brought them back for the knock-on. Doesn't matter. The full-time siren goes. St Helens have done it again. They have beaten Warrington on their own patch. This record goes on. 40 points to 26. The tragedy from a Warrington point of view, Brian, is that margins don't get any closer.
Oh, well, I think they'll feel they got a lot closer tonight. They'll feel that
scoreboard never lies.
Yeah, but with a few more players back in their team, I'm pretty confident their coach will think that they can compete against St Helens. Saints have got a few to come back in as well. So you're right, the scoreboard never lies as the league ladder doesn't lie. So Saints will walk away again and putting the disappointment of their loss last week behind them. And Warrington, they've been on a terrific run, haven't they? They just go on again and rebuild.
Yes, the first defeat for a while for Warrington. A 3-match winning run comes to an end for them. But the rain is pelting down. And, well, Bill, he hasn't got a Mac on, so I don't think this will be long. He's talking to Kyle Eastman, who's been named the man of the match.
Kyle, congratulations. Champagne, which you'll enjoy. And you'll enjoy that win as well, because you really had to dig out for that one, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a really tough game. We knew it was going to be a tough game because Warrington are a good side, but I think we came here today and did the job, and all the boys should be proud of themselves.
And it was a classic Warrington Saints game, wasn't it? You know, nip and tuck, and you're never comfortable.
No, never going to be comfortable. We knew that, but like I said, we dug into there. We got a great win.
You've got your big break. Sean Long obviously out for some time now. Great opportunity for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for me, but we've got a lot of good scrum halves at Saints as well, so I've got to be...
You're looking over your shoulder as well?
Definitely, I'm looking over my shoulder. I just want to play well and hopefully stay in the team.
But, I mean, on a performance like this, you've got to be pleased.
Yeah, great performance, and this is what we wanted to do all week, and
especially after what happened last week.
Yeah, especially after what happened last week. And Salford were good last week, but I think we turned it around this week, and we're really happy with that.
Well done on man of the match, Carl. You got the champagne, you got £100 for a charity of your choice. Where's that going to go?
I think it's going to go to Audley Hay Children's Foundation. I think it's done a lot of great work for me and my family with my little cousin Ria, and they've done great work for us, so I'll send it there, please.
Well done tonight.
Cheers.
Well, let's bring Brian Carney in, who, well, what a game to come back for, Brian. I mean, that was a typical Warrington Saints game, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it's very disappointing. We give them too much space and allowed them play, and it's going to be a disappointing change rooms. It's not what we've been doing in the last few weeks, and we're going to be an angry coach in there.
Because to be on level terms against a side like Saints, have the game there to be won, and then to let it slip away like that.
Yeah, we faded away badly, and that's something we're not going to be too happy about. It's a scoreline in the end. We just let it run away from ourselves, and it's disappointing.
You've been away. Saints haven't changed, have they?
No, they're still outstanding side. We're bringing through a lot of good fellows as well. Like Kyle Eastman was outstanding, but I think we to be fair, we let him too much space today, and if you give him space, he's going to cause all sorts of trouble. He's a hell of a player.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, pleasure. Take care.
Welcome back to the Super League, Brian, and a hard lesson has been learned. 40 points to 26. St